Hi everybody, welcome to the second instalment of Spotlight On. Today we are going to be talking to the team responsible for the Float Your Boat Challenge. So sit back, relax and let's learn a little bit more. Today I have got Sharuni, Kabir and Lukerman. Do you all want to say hi guys?
Hello.
And these guys all make up part of the Float Your Boat Challenge team, okay? So, first question is, can you tell me a little bit about Float Your Boat? Like what is it and what does it involve?
Actually, Float Your Boat Challenge is a concept generated by our friendly employer, Daniel Adamson Group. Katrina reached out, I think 2 years ago, regarding this project, and we were so happy to grab the project into our arms, and then because it was not just one time a site visit or just a workshop. It was a long time project that is going to make sure that our students will have a complete learning experience. So we grabbed the opportunity from both our arms.
Love that. Okay. So, can you tell me about how the idea of Float Your Boat Challenge came about and why it felt like the right project for your departments to get involved in? Because you guys all come from 3 different areas of the business, don't you, from the college?
I think Kabir will be able to weigh in there.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I would like to say this is a very big step forward in the history. You heard Charuni, it's been a 2 years journey. So the first year wasn't exactly smooth, but the second year, which we're on now, is a lot easier than the first year. And not just that, it's a huge step forward. That's because this time around there's been a lot of partnership, and it's not just one department anymore like the first time. It's all 3 of us, combining our forces together. And even though there's been some challenges still, we do not expect it to be all perfect and smooth now, but it's been a huge jump, miles apart as compared to the first one. That's because Lukman's area of expertise is quite vast and he's versatile in those areas. Charuni's as well, she's quite brilliant. She's a brilliant mind.
We've got some good people
She's
here.
the brainchild behind all of this. And in my own department as well, I have something I could give in, because when it comes to materials and metals, I do have something to chip in there. So we all came together and thought we could, bring our concepts together and just make it one whole concept, and that's the secret ingredient to this second trial.
So why don't you explain what your key areas of specialism are then?
Okay, so I'll speak for myself and I'll hand the mic over to Lukman too. So like I said earlier, I specialize in advanced manufacturing. I'm the lecturer in engineering for advanced manufacturing here at Hugh, and we do make use of different material, different composites, not just metals, not just ceramics, not just wood. It comprises of different materials you can think of. And we have polymers that we can make use of that can actually give you the results that you require of what a metal can do. Right. So that's where I chip in. Okay, we can actually structure this way. We can use that material to get our end product. And when it comes to if that is feasible, that's where Lukman comes in. So he tells us if the structure is going to hold or fail. So I'll hand this over to him to talk about that.
All right. With my expertise, I think, I think will need the whole.
I was going to say you've got a lot of expertise.
So from my experience, it's like I've been in industry doing real engineering work and normal building work. I was very lucky to be able to tap into any type of knowledge that come around my site, although I'm having a construction background. But I was able to chip into dealing with materials, dealing with any type of substance that need to stand for people to benefit with its strength or durability of it. Okay. So that is where I come in. I'm more into structures, but very funny way because I don't like easy things.
Right, okay.
I like to experiment.
You like a challenge.
The challenge, yeah. Something that I will know or any normal person will think is not going to be possible.
Yeah,
My
you like to
duty
take
is
that
to
on.
take that up, yeah. That is what I like to do.
Okay.
So with that kind of way, that made us to really come together, gel well, and get the project going. Yeah.
And Sharuni, what about you in terms of your specialisms?
My main background is civil engineering, but in this project, I think the main part I played was like as a collaborator and main communicator for the project. I liaised with all the external parties and then tried my best as the STEM department to bring everyone together to give a really good experience for our students. So.
Love that. So what was it, so what sort of things did you do, like as 3 different areas of the business to come together to collaborate really well? What was it that worked, what didn't work, what were the challenges that you faced, or what sort of strategies did you put in place to make it so positive?
One of the main things is the college strategy. It's really well defined that we should work with the employers, and that really helps, because it's not just that we want to do something and the top from the help is there everywhere. Right, so from the top to bottom there is a need for bringing in employers, giving the best experience for students, and I think that's one of the major reasons that Hugh College won the outstanding status in the recent Ofsted inspection. Right. So that was the key. And when it comes to the next one, the student experience division, I liaised with them, especially for the second year, because of the difficulties that and challenges we faced in the first year regarding the budget and the funding. So we got prepared for this from beforehand. Although the second part of the project started from September 2024, we prepared well ahead from June 2024, working with the Student Experience Division. We had Paul, Chris, Thomas, who helped us bringing in funding from Shaping Futures. Right. Okay. So we had a good funding amount, I think around £10,000. So that was really more than enough for us to run the workshops, bring in all the materials and everything required for the board construction. Okay. So I think that's pretty much summarizes everything.
If I may chip in, Charuni, I would just like to add that the students are a major driving force. Remember, this is a student-oriented project. Right, okay. So this time around, unlike the first year, I understand, we needed a little push for the students because they could see that the drive to achieve this is there this time around, unlike the first time where you needed to put in extra efforts to convince them to go into. So
you had more buy-in this time?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they were more interested in it this time. At some point I had some students asking me, okay, when do we start the competition? When do we do this? When do we? And that was one of the major positive bits to the whole process.
What was it that helped build that engagement with them?
All right. I think what really get the whole boat going was the little demo we had. We had a bit of funding, so we bought a whole lot of art. So we turned the whole classroom in one of our multi-purpose use classroom into a boat competition. So from them, chipping in from folding papers, cutting off veneers, and bringing things together with stapling machine, that is what set the whole thing going. So from that baby step, that gave them that hunger to be able to see the bigger, have the idea of having the bigger, vision to build a bigger one. So wherever we are now is from how we started from that baby step to where we are now.
Love that. Okay, so we were actually talking last week about the sustainability element of the project. So with the project including the sustainability focus, how did you ensure the environmental impact stayed front and centre throughout the design of the project?
All right, that has been our key, mostly to like bringing that idea or bringing that concept from our curriculum. Our main idea, we always embed in sustainability. Through that, we were able or we were planning to build some of the boat from recycling materials, which purposely we were trying to use a sawdust, a veneer, glue, and then a bit of sand. The main thing is we didn't want to spend money, and we want to make sure we recycle the byproduct from some of our workshops.
So with that, if I'm right, then part of those materials form part of your PhD.
Yeah.
Is that right? So can you tell me more about the innovation and how it's like contributed overall, like process of it, and how it's actually impacted the build?
All right. So I will say I will start a bit from far away. Throughout my educational career, like from my dissertation, from my undergraduate to my master's, when people are writing dissertation, I was only in the experiments. Yeah, I did all my dissertation at the workshop, which that gave me that vast idea, vast knowledge in dealing with materials. So for wherever I will be, I try to make sure I hold that concept.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is how it started.
Okay. So what were some of the key challenges that you faced during the project, and how did the team overcome them?
One of the key challenges was now to explain about the boat one. It is actually at the research stage, so because it's a mix of sawdust and then this glue and a bit of sand, as Lukman said. So we needed to test initially, and then we had to go to the bigger version, the prototype, and then using that as the the initial experience, we started thinking about a boat number 2 with the students, and they came up with different ideas. One, they decided was this use of sustainable material jute along with epoxy resin. So the major challenge actually we faced was the use of epoxy resin, because none of us has the first-hand experience of applying and using it.
Like learn on the job then?
Yes. So we actually we researched, we watched videos, students watched videos, and everybody weighed in everywhere. But the main resource we had was Katharina from Daniel Adamson, Danny, who helped us by bringing in experts from the industry. Where Rick Young, we must give due credit to him. He was really resourceful towards the end of the project. He's a naval architect from Switzer company, so he gave us confidence in applying resin. He gave us some demos, and also after we built the initial, applied the epoxy resin layer, he came and verified that, okay, it's good to go.
Right.
So we had the initial
So you
confirmation from
collaborated
him.
with experts external as well as the expertise in-house.
Yes.
And then you guys almost, it sounded like we're on like a shared learning journey with the students through that program as well.
Yeah.
Does that help like sort of bind everybody through the project?
Yes.
And just to add to what Charuni has just mentioned again, this again is student oriented. I keep emphasizing that. So we sometimes will allow them to take the mantle of leadership, even though we know what we need to do. Okay. I had, talking about challenges we faced, I had at some point Patrick and one other students telling me, but the book says we should do this or that, and I had to tell them, look, the book is there as a guide, and one major thing about this project is the novelty. We should be a step or a little bit different from the norm, while we still keep to the ISO standards or the international standards or the state safety standards. So trying to create a design different from what is already existing, the generic designs that we know, is one major challenge that we had.
Love that. So you're trying to innovate upon things as you went through?
Yeah, just to give you a snippet or a chip into what we're talking about. A while ago, Charuni was reminding me, Kabir, we haven't used the parachute. And I said, no.
The parachute?
Yes, that is it. Okay. So, and
You
I
have a
said,
parachute?
we had that discussion. Yeah, we had. So what it does is it could be important when you need an emergency brake.
Yeah.
Sort
Right,
of like
okay.
when
How
you're going
fast
on
is
a
this
high
boat
speed.
going?
And you could use it to maneuver your directions as well, depending on
On the
wind
tide,
and
yeah.
tides.
Okay.
So I had to remind her that we've had that discussion with Lukman earlier, so we've made provision
There's a
for
provision
it.
for that.
So don't worry, it's not going to go in waste. So it's one of those, innovations we're trying to bring into the project. But like I said, we're trying to tailor, or we're trying to allow the students have
To
a
experiment,
major feel of the
challenge
whole
themselves.
process.
Well, when you're talking about the students now, like in what ways did you see students grow both like technically and personally through the project?
Just a little before I hand over the mic to Lukman. Well, my students, because as you know, we are all from different departments, it sort of exposed me to that world I never saw in them. I never knew they had that, skill from them. It exposed that other side of them, different from the classroom
Right, okay.
feel. I could, figure out, I remember telling one of them that I never knew you could measure with a tape rule rather than a ruler like this,
Right.
because he's most times using verniers and rulers, and we've never actually used something different. So when I noticed that different aspects of him, it opened me to a whole new world entirely
Right.
from student perspective. And you could tell their strength from their weakness when it comes to actually the hands-on experience in terms
Yeah.
of designing.
So by having that hands-on experience with them and actually in like more of a real-world environment, then you're able to potentially like stretch them a little bit further or tap into little
Precisely.
skill sets that you didn't know that they necessarily had.
Absolutely.
Love that.
I think from the question you asked, it is a bit big to answer that question. That will come to what you call growth. For example, when you talk about growth, for them to be able to work collaboratively, working together, which is highly or a big skill or highly recommended in the industry, was one of my first gain.
Yeah.
Actually, when starting with them with their head down and then be able to look into your face and then be able to ask questions, have a smile behind it. So that shows different level of growth.
Yeah.
Can actually, like as Kabir said, from exposing their technical skills, but their like employability skills, their communication, working collaboratively, being able to communicate well, being there for each other. That was one of my the fun bit about all
So
this
some of the
project.
biggest elements
The
of growth
biggest of
is the
elements.
fact that when they now go out into industry,
They will be
they're
able
going to
to,
have those skill sets that are going to
ready.
make them more attractive
They're ready.
to employers.
Because remember, some of these students haven't actually come in contact before.
Yeah.
They're from different departments,
Departments.
different
Yeah.
courses. So it's the first time they're coming together to work on a project.
On
So
a
they
project.
have to infuse themselves into the project and try to learn about themselves in the process at the same time.
Because like one of the values of the college is collaboration,
Collaboration.
and it
Precisely.
seems
That was
like
the
this.
key.
Yeah, that's been the key to this
Key
whole
to this
project.
whole thing.
You know, with the 3 different areas of the business,
Yeah.
students coming together who haven't worked together before, tapping into different areas
Different
that they haven't
areas.
worked in before. So hopefully it'll mean that when they now go out into industry, they've got those skill sets where they can actually work across different areas, or tap into different external providers or whatever it is.
And like I said initially, there were certain points where I remember Lukman had to throw the questions to one of the students. What do you think we should do from here? It's not as if he did not know, but because he wanted them to have that discussion, talk about it,
You just guided them
brainstorm
to it.
on what to do. We just stepped back and they were there just
They were
brainstorming
there
on
to be
what to
able
do
to,
about that particular step, and that was very important. That was very interesting to experience.
Love that. Okay, next question for you is, how did you support the students then in applying the learning to real world experience through project-based environment. Like, so we've actually just covered that, I think. So next one then is, what has been the most rewarding part of the project to take shape, from like ideas to execution?
Okay, just to reiterate again on what man said, it's the highlight of the whole project would be when we actually win the competition, because we deserve
All
to
about
win
that
the
prize.
competition.
Yeah.
That would be the highlight.
We don't come to enter.
But then again, as a take home or as an icing on the cake, I think seeing the students collaborate to work on the project is one important bit that you just cannot take away in a very long time, because it's the first one, but we believe the next one is going to be a bigger step forward. So I think as a major take home, I would say that collaborative journey between not just the students, but us three as well.
Yeah, what's it been like, you three working together? Never mind the students for a second. So you three from different areas. Has this been exciting for you guys, being able to be on a project like this?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. At least
Or are you just ready not to see each other again? You know?
No, it has been. I think we are all from the we are all from field, professionally had an experience. But I think whenever you bring more than one person to work, that comes with its own challenge, in which we didn't face anything. Actually, we have Chiruni acting as a project manager, and then I was acting as a structural manager, and then I have the material specialist, the material specialist as well. So it was a good thing. Other than that, I think when you look at it from my point of view, like building a house, you need more skill. I think in this, you can find more than 2 roles in this. So that helped for the whole project to go execute slowly or smoothly without compromising with any health and safety, no casualty.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Do you think this has been a good demonstration, though, of the way that our college has got experts across all different areas and how well they can actually all come together?
Absolutely. That is what is the key here. We want to set an example. The way Hugh Baird operates is not just writing the names. We say it and we do it.
Yeah.
So that is one thing we do.
You want to weigh
pass it on to
in?
Actually, I want to add just one more thing, and it has been a real sort of a great experience working with this team. I must mention that it has been personally rewarding and as well as professionally rewarding. And in addition to that, other than us three, it's all the other departments as well. One it would be the engineering department. I can't forget Martin Speed. His students were also part of the project initially for the design stage. So they participated also in most of our workshops and the site visits, and then handed over the baton to our side because it's more towards the construction and materials side. So other than that, again, the carpentry and joinery department, yes, they helped us.
So it's like actually branched out a lot further than even just you guys.
Yeah.
So it should, like, so you guys have tapped into people that you know across the college that could support the
Of
build and the
course, of
projects
course.
as well.
Actually, like in using some of the workshop, for example, all the materials were cut at the carpentry. So we still have to go to them. They have to we have to get a site tour of their place. Although we are familiar with them, there are machines which are totally different from what we were used to. So they are experts. So they show us how it is done. Sign papers that you have to sign, and then we have a go.
Right.
Then the students too can have a go at it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I want to mention Mark Hamilton, who helped us, and Steve, and a lot. And of course, Neil Dolan helped us in getting their time allocated for the project, because whenever we needed our students, even he arranged, volunteered to arrange a session for our students to see how the work is done. I mean, because when we used the plywood initially, we drew the, whatever the pieces on plywood, and then that needed to go to the carpentry workshop, and then that had to be cut using whatever the big machines they have. Yeah. So they gave us a really good experience there as well, along with ideas about the sustainability there, how to reduce the waste material. So it was another learning experience there. So the whole project was.
Do you feel like you guys have grown as well during the project?
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like with this being actually like Spotlight On is a recognition platform, so the fact you've been able to recognise so many people from different areas of the college is brilliant.
Just yesterday we were in the motor department as well with Ian.
Yes,
I mean,
of course.
we've cut across all board
The automotive
basically.
department, because they
So-
are now coming in, isn't it?
It's like an F1 team, this.
Yeah,
you know?
just like F1 team.
Okay, so we touched on this a little bit earlier, I think, but what do you hope students will take away from this experience? Not just in terms of skills, but in terms of like mindset.
Well, I'll just say teamwork.
Yeah.
Basically teamwork, you can achieve anything you want to. As an independent person, fine, but you achieve a lot more
When you
using
go
a
with
team.
others. Yeah.
When you're using, the right team, that is. So it doesn't matter if they are familiar faces or if they are faces you've not seen before. As long as you work in a team, you get the work done.
Love that.
And then I would say the confidence in being able, the honesty among them, being able to raise up their hands and say, oh, say I caught this wrong, what can I do? And then the way we also take that mistakes on board and celebrate it.
Yeah.
So that is for me one of the best gain.
Yeah. So rather than seeing it as a mistake, it's an opportunity
we celebrate
to then
it,
learn.
and then that will bring
Yeah.
us another learning curve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say professionalism, working with industry experts, listening to them, and knowing that the outside world is so big, and we are so little in what we know, and there are a lot of things to explore, and also how to be humble and also be positive about our resources and the strengths, and work towards a challenge. So.
Okay, so looking ahead, how do you see projects like this shaping the future of teaching and learning at Hugh Baird?
So it's all about how the curriculum will be, how we'll be able to embed in the plan into the curriculum, in which I was speaking to Katerina this afternoon about the time and how we will be able to execute such a huge project without interrupting, like people have to come in to work extra hours, because if it is already embedded in the curriculum, it will be very easy to do it without making any effort.
Right, okay. So, last bit for you. So, what's the next steps from where the project is now? So, what does it look like between now and getting the boat in the water? And then how do we know, what's the criteria in terms of understanding who's won or not, or what's the voting, or walk us through that bit?
So where we are at the moment, we are all safe.
Okay, that's a
We
win.
can sail, that is a win. And number two is we've done all what we have to, all the boxes has been ticked. The only thing is we have to recheck how watertight it is.
Okay.
And see what we'll be able to do. Other than that, we don't have any problem, just to keep it going.
Okay.
And for that, actually, we will be getting an external support as well. Katrina has arranged kindly for us a marine surveyor. So tomorrow, he will be coming to the college to verify if the boat is fit to go in the water.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so.
And then when is the date of launch?
So that's 12th June, next week, Thursday. So we are very much looking forward to it, and we're going to win.
I love that. Okay, and how will you know if you've won? Is it a voting criteria or what's the?
I think to answer that, we have one already as it
I
stands.
love that. Yeah. So now we've got one of the students from the project. This is Patrick.
Yep,
Okay.
okay.
So Patrick, why don't you tell everybody what is your area of study at Hugh Baird?
So my study is the T-level in design, surveying and construction, and that's with Lukeman.
Right. Okay. So tell us about the project from your perspective. Then, what did you first think when you heard about the Float Your Boat Challenge?
Well, when I first heard about it, I was thinking, about, because it'd been mentioned, I think, about October, so a month into the year, so October 2024. And so we got given this little leaflet on what they were about, and I read it and I thought, I like the sound of this. So I went to Luke and said I'd be interested in doing this, and from there it came to, helping, doing, seeing professionals and the stuff, helping with the actual builds of the boat, and finally here.
Love that. Okay, so what part of the design or build process were you most excited or nervous about, and why was that?
Probably seeing it all finally come together, like when they get the structure of the boat together, because you're wondering to yourself as you're doing it, oh, is this going to work?
Yeah.
After all, these, literal half a year, 8 months worth of hard work, and you could take one person saying, no, you can't put this in the water. And it's like,
yeah,
that's it. What are you going to do? But that's the most nervous part, but the most
rewarding
for me, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So working with other students from different departments must have been a bit of a new experience. Yeah. How did you collaborate and share ideas throughout that?
Well, it was we met them a couple of times, and we were always quite collaborative with each other. There was never mistrust. It was always we know what we want. How are we going to do it? Yeah. So throughout the entire project, we've always been kind of working together without any problems.
Okay. So what was your sort of key interest that you brought to the table? Do you think that that you're able to share with people from other areas of the college?
That's a good question.
Well, what's been something that you feel like you've had quite a bit of ownership over during the project?
I feel like the materials that we've chosen has been quite something I've had control over, because we had a girl called Naomi come in.
Okay.
And choose some some materials we could use, such as resins and type of can't think what they're called now. This is sorry. Composite, to use for the lining of the boat to keep it watertight.
Okay.
And I feel like when I heard about them, I thought these would be good, and I really pushed that to say no, we should use these. Here's why, and we did in the end. Yeah.
So there's a strong focus on the environmental sustainability, which we spoke about with the guys just a minute ago. How did you bring that into design choices and decision making? So when you just said about some of the composites and bits like that, yeah. How did you keep that at the front of your mind as you were going through it?
Well, it's
or was that did you work say closely with Lukeman during that process, or?
Yeah, we did work close with Lukeman during that process, and the boat itself is pretty much sustainable. Everything we use, bar one thing, is a sustainable source.
Right,
from the wood we use in the ship to the the composite materials we use. And
yeah. Was that quite an exciting experience using sustainable materials as opposed to just say generic? So where the guys said before that they were looking to innovate and find new ways of doing things, was that something that was quite new for you as well?
Yeah, it was, because I haven't done this before, so yeah. It's you're using these sustainable materials and you're thinking, how can we put this on? Is it a certain order we've got to put things in for it to still be watertight? So it's it's really whilst we were assembling the boat, a lot of it was us talking about how we're going to do it, to plan out so we don't mess it up as we're doing it. And that was I think the most important part of doing it, because we hadn't again done it before.
Yeah, so it was a little bit of learning on the job as well, and seeing what worked, what didn't.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what has surprised you most through the project about yourself, your team, or the process in general?
I would say what surprised me the most was just how much goes into it, because you think, building a boat, you think there's got to be like some
Yeah.
complication, but you don't realise how long it takes just to, plan it out. We've been planning this all out, like choosing like the design, the materials and all that for months. It wasn't until like a week or two ago that we actually, got it all together and got the structure of the boat done.
Right, okay.
So it was a shock to me how long it's like, takes to do it.
The stuff like in the background, like
Yeah.
getting to the point of actually
Yeah.
like manufacturing it, putting it together.
Yeah, and you're a bit like, you like that waiting for it to get done. So when you get there, it's that
Reward at the end
reward,
of it.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, can you share a bit of a moment during the project that you felt was a real win or like a breakthrough?
Yes, it was the second day we were putting the boat together, and we got all the sides together, and we got the expert in what I'm trying to think of his name was now. Rick. We got Rick in to check it, yeah, and he's looking over it, and he said to us, and this is before we'd had any of the composite materials on. He said, as it is now, it will float, and it's like, we've done it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? After all that, we've
got
got
to
it.
that point.
Yeah, and now from then it was just keeping it watertight from there.
Okay. So you made sure that it could float first, and then it was like, right now it's watertight, so that was
Yeah.
the process for it.
How to process for it, yeah. But like when he said it, it's like a sigh of relief, because it was dead silent.
Right.
And he's looking over it like this. And he's like we're all there. He's there and he looks to us and says, as it is now, it will float. And like,
Massive reward for you.
it was, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great. And so, how have your lecturers supported and guided you through the challenge? And is there anything that you'd like to say to them?
The guide was massively, can I say, because I can only speak for myself here, but it was a bit like, it's, literally learning on the job for a lot of it, because with my course, it's not as technical as, say, the joiners and that.
Okay.
So actually being down there and like the workshops put together, and having Lukeman, Chiluni help us through it, it's a massive reward. So I wanna thank them mainly for it. Do you know what I mean? Because without them, we wouldn't have got like even a quarter of the distance of what we've done.
Amazing. Okay. So, what skills do you feel like you've developed or strengthened during the project that you'll carry forward with you?
I'd say teamwork, definitely. Because it's you're there and you got your feet down, you're working with everyone else, and you can't really, you've got to learn just to work together. Again, it's that idea of everyone knows what we want, how are we going to do it.
Yeah.
So throughout the entire thing, everyone's been dead cooperative, and I think it really has helped with my teamwork skills. It's just allowing everyone to work together. You have the expertise in this. What's your advice on doing this?
Right.
I've got the expertise in that. Here's my advice on what we should do here.
So it's helped you have that confidence to go to people as well?
Yeah, definitely.
Love that. Okay, so how has the experience shaped or influenced your career goals or aspirations for the future? First of all, what are your sort of aspirations? What do you see yourself doing when you come out of Hugh, Baird?
Well, hopefully I'd like to work in either site management or health and safety. One of those two.
Okay.
Those are the ones that appeal to me the most. So.
Okay. How do you feel then that your experience on this project will help you going forward into either of those two areas?
Unless you're at the bottom, you've done experience at the bottom, you can't do at the top. So I'll give you an example. So the boat, when we got it, it was because of the size of the cutting tables, the boat was in two pieces.
Okay.
So it was working together, starting to attach the boat together, do you know what I mean? And we were holding it in place as we were running wires through it to attach it.
Okay.
And it's constantly shaking, you're like that, trying to hold it, and hammering nails in and all that. And I think, when you've got that, you know what to do at the top, because you can understand what it's like.
Because you've experienced it
firsthand.
that element to it, so then you can appreciate what people are working with. And
yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's it does help you realise, you need to be especially patient, I think, with these things. And very, can't get stressed by it either if something starts to
go
wrong, yeah.
Okay. So, last question to wrap up for us.
Okay.
If you had to sum up the whole experience of the Float Your Boat Challenge in either one word or one phrase, what would it be and why?
I would say eye-opening. And it's that ideas I've talked about before, before with other questions about, you know, having experience on the bottom and, you know, having Lukeman and Charuni and all that guide us through it. It's just showing you like a small sample of the real world, you know what I mean? And what the industry is like with everyone working together.
Have you enjoyed that like sort of first-hand experience of it?
Definitely, yeah. It's been like because, you know, with what I want to go into with like site management and health and safety, it's quite office-based in a way.
Okay.
Site management's a little bit less so, but health and safety certainly is very office-based.
Okay.
So getting like, you know, on the ground, seeing what it's like, it's grounding you and just reminding yourself it's humbling really, that's the word.
Do you feel like through this, has this experience brought more to you or been more complex or given you more exposure to things than what you actually first anticipated that it would when you saw it and went, yeah, I want to be part of that?
Yes, definitely. I didn't know what to expect. I just went. I went in hook, line and sinker.
Okay. So any students who were presented with an opportunity like this again, to like be part of this project or a project similar to this, would you recommend that they?
Most definitely, yeah. Yes, certainly. It's I've said before, it's an eye-opening experience, and it's just. I'm not trying to say a fun time, because I'm not trying, because it is quite serious in ways. But I'm just trying to think of the.
Yeah, no, that's fine, mate. Well, it's like, so next Thursday, the 12th.
Yeah.
That's the date for the launch. Date for when we're going to hopefully bring home the trophy. Are you confident?
I'm very confident indeed, yes.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much, mate.
No problem, yes,
and
thank you.
Good luck for next week.
Yes, thank you very much.
Cheers, mate. Okay, and our final guest today on Spotlight On, we have got Katrina from the
Daniel Adamson.
Daniel Adamson. So, why don't you explain to the guys what is the Daniel Adamson and how is the Daniel Adamson and yourself connected to the project?
Right, so this is a slightly long story. The Daniel Adamson is the last remaining Mersey-built coal-fired steamboat, I think in the world, but definitely in the country.
Okay.
And it was restored by volunteers from the region in 2015-16 for the benefit of the region. So one of the things about it is all the engineering on board is there, it's visible.
Okay.
The other thing about it is it's the point that we're moving from in terms of sustainability. So it's coal-fired. So that is exactly where we're moving on from now with respect to the sustainability agenda. The other thing is the Danny's, it's part of the history of the region. It was built and operated on Merseyside. But it's also an operational steamboat, so it's part of the maritime community nowadays. So we're working together we go over to the shipyard at Camelaird for our winter repairs. The tugboat company Switzer, our marine superintendent, is one of their captains. Peel Port have given us their berth. So we're part of that community. And we realised there's something very interesting there in terms of how we engage with young people. Because there's something about understanding, particularly young people who live in port areas, they often live in areas that have had many generations of deprivation. Yeah. But what they don't necessarily know anymore, there's a bit of a connection with the sea and the port that's broken generationally, and they don't necessarily know the incredible history of innovation that forms the region that made Liverpool what it was. And that is now kind of on the rise again and making Liverpool move into the future, because Liverpool's the home of so many maritime innovations happening nowadays. And there's so many big companies who are interested in engaging with young people. So we thought, well, we'd like to be that link, because young people engaging with that heritage, it gives them confidence. Yeah. And it makes them start thinking about a future. And actually, there's a future where, as the maritime sector is moving towards decarbonisation, there's something like 50,000 ships. So each of those ships is going to have to be retrofitted. Everything will have to be net zero by 2050.
Right.
So the young people who learn those skills today,
Are going to be the ones who are going to be impacting
they'll be the
that
experts.
going forward.
They will have fantastic jobs probably for the whole of their lifetime because they'll be the experts. So it's a really nice opportunity and there's a real natural connection there. So we started building that project and like Charuni and Kabir and Lukaman were saying, we started working with them in the first year of the pilot. And collaboration is something that's obviously at the heart of how Hugh Baird are working. And it was also kind of built into the project because it's about our heritage partners,
Right.
which is National Museums Liverpool and the Canal and River Trust, and about our maritime partners, which is Switzer, Camel Laird, Peel Ports, KS Composites. So KS Composites, which is the company that Patrick mentioned, they have created the material for the, it's called GT Air Wing. So it's an innovation that was, it's a new innovative design funded by Innovate UK based in the Wirral. And it's a modern take on air power. And it was so, the woman from Naomi, who he mentioned as well, from the company, the composites company, who came in and spoke to the students, she showed them a field of flax, and then she showed them a piece of a Formula One car made out of that. Blew everybody's minds.
That'll blow my mind, yeah.
And also that it could operate, so that was also what had built this GT Air Wing, and it's hard enough it can function in a maritime environment,
Right.
which everything about maritime is complicated. So we had that collaboration across heritage, across maritime, and across education with some really good partners, and I have to say the team here have been amazing to work with and to run with the ideas and engage the students and give all of them an opportunity to engage with it, and the ones who wanted to lead to follow on, which has been fantastic to see happening. And the maritime partners working on it have supported massively. So they've had really high level engagement. So the head of fleet for Europe, their naval architect from Switzer, one of the naval architects from Camel Laird has come in and explained how you build a boat, how you manage a project at a shipyard.
Right.
They've did their designs. They were invited over to Camel Laird to present their designs to the naval architecture team. So you could see the young people's confidence growing. Patrick was one of the young people who went over to Camel Laird to present the designs, and they had the confidence to speak to these people who are working at this level within the industry, because they're working on a project. Okay, so Camel Laird people they're building things like the David Attenborough, but I'm building a boat too.
Yeah.
So having something concrete and hands-on at the centre of the project was core.
Yeah.
And then, it was just being able to provide those opportunities to find out more both about the heritage. And I think one of the things that I think Lukaman found interesting was at the initial event where they found out about the challenge, found out about naval architecture, found out about project management within a shipyard. They also had a tour of the historic site. And
Right.
one of the things they came across was during World War II, there were a lot of boats made out of concrete because that was the material that was available. Now, it's not an ideal building material for boats, but it works. So in World War II, when you don't have the materials available, you have innovations coming. Yeah. Now, it's not necessarily an innovation, but I could see Lukaman being quite interested and thinking, oh, this material I've been working on with the students, maybe there's something we could do with that. So it's been a fantastic experience working with the college and being able to just provide those opportunities to engage with our partners. So Maersk, for example, I don't know if you'll see them all over the place now because they're one of the biggest
Maersk,
shipping containers.
Yeah.
So one of their directors spoke to them about the fuels that are using, because Maersk are leading in terms of introducing future fuels.
Right.
So we have to get rid of diesel. And maritime is one of the most complicated things in the world because you can't charge a battery in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
So they've started using new fuels like methanol. They've got a number of methanol-powered ships. So he was able to speak to them about that, get them thinking about, okay, how do we power the boat? Naomi's got them thinking, what do we build it out of? Rick has got them, and Kirsten have got them thinking about how we're going to make it be strong enough and float. And then they're coming back to college and the tutors are enabling them to turn this beginnings of brand new ideas outside of their experience into something that they can actually make and have ownership of. So it's been fantastic.
That sounds unreal.
It's brilliant. It's a brilliant project, I have to say. I can't wait to see the boat.
Yeah.
So the challenge is, which they've known from the beginning, they have to build a boat. The competition is to have the one that is the most sustainable, built at the least environmental cost and the least economic cost, and will carry a cargo of 10 10-litre jerry cans across the basin of the canal. So we will
Right.
test it on next Thursday and see which one can do it best.
I hope that we've got some flat water for it.
It's in the canal basin at Ellesmere
Right,
Port, the
okay.
museum. So it's all being so risk assessed.
Yeah.
So that's why we've got a surveyor coming in tomorrow to give them the licence to be allowed to bring it out in the water. Because
Right.
there's going to be a person in the Hugh Baird boat.
Who's
So-
the person? Who's going in the boat?
Still under debate.
Still
isn't
under
it?
debate. Right.
So I'll have to throw a lot on that.
Right. Okay.
So, so that remains to be seen, and they will have a panel from industry listening to them. And again, it's amazing how senior people have been really engaged with the students. So they've got on the panel, there's the chair of the IMRS, the Marine Engineers Organisation for the North of England. Right. There's the one of the deans of John Moores University in Maritime Engineering, or the Maritime Centre. I think she's the dean for global innovation. Wow. They've got somebody from Innovate UK. So they have an amazing panel listening to their ideas and feeding back to them. And then they're all going to come on a cruise on the Danny, where we will hear about the innovations in terms of energy in the region. So the director of the HyNet project at Stanlow will give a little short talk, and the industry leads will feed back to the students about their boats, and we'll find out who's the winner. Well, or winners.
Winners. Okay. Well, it sounds absolutely amazing. So in terms of the exposure that the students are getting, like say, going to getting these different experts coming in, and like having spoken with our Hugh Baird experts and being on this project, from your perspective, having been like a fly on the wall, during it all, and touching base, coming in and being part of the project as well, what sorts of things have you seen from the students, like during the course of the project?
It has to be a similar thing to what Charuni and Kabir and Lukaman were saying. It's a real growth in confidence.
Right, okay.
Because, and I think, we when we were forming the project, we talked to young people, we talked to the Liverpool City Region careers people, we talked to everybody. But one of the things in the skills gap in the region, there's technical skills gap, but there's also very significant one around people's communication skills, around teamwork skills, around those soft skills, and you can see that, and confidence, just growing massively.
Right.
And it's really fantastic. It was so exciting to come in last week and see them working on the final bits, putting the boat together.
Right.
So yeah, it's really been that side, because I can see them picking up the technical skills, but the exciting bit is seeing them taking ownership of them and growing themselves as, I guess, as young engineers
people,
and professionals. Yeah.
Right. So with there being such a angle towards sustainability within this project, and how you said that, that's the way the future's going, so everybody needs to get on board now. What sort of professions and things, if we add the young learners that we've got now, or ones that are potentially going to come to the college next year or the year after, what sort of opportunities are out there should they wish to come on board with a project like this? If they got exposure to the things that they have, they get a taste for it, what does the future look like in terms of pathways that they can go down?
Well, I'm flying the flag for maritime, obviously. But the maritime industry is one of the 4 something growth industries in the region.
Right.
And that's largely because of decarbonisation and all the work that needs to happen around that. So there's at least 4 major projects going on in the region. It extends to the supply line, so it extends to advanced manufacturing, it extends to electronics, it extends to energy. Again, it's another thing that the region is playing quite a leading role in terms of green energy. Right. So all of those fields are touched on. And there's something about the breadth of the project, so ecology. So because if you're looking at sustainability, you can think about it in a very tick-boxy way, but if you work with an ecologist and you have a look at what's in the water, which we did with a camera, and we had wonderful ecologists from the Canal and River Trust, and the students were saying, well, I'm an engineer, what's this got to do with that? And that beginning to realise it has a hell of a lot to do with it. So for example, one of the things that you need to do if you're building a boat is you need to try and prevent creatures clinging onto it and moving from one port to another, because you can destroy the ecosystem. Right, but actually one of the things they found is when they were developing this paint to prevent that happening. It makes the boats cut through the water more smoothly, it cuts down the amount of fuel you need, cuts down your carbon footprint. So all these things are, they're all connected.
Yeah.
And if you're going to think about sustainability, you do need to think about what do we want to look after and why. So I guess, obviously, I'm flying the flag for maritime, but also for them to be thinking about themselves, to step into their own ownership of where they're going. So to be thinking about, if you want to think about sustainability, you want to be thinking about why you're doing that, what are you looking after, and that's your natural environment, your heritage environment, your people.
Yeah.
And it's just great to be able to be part of a project that's just given them the opportunity to delve into all that.
Well, I think when Patrick was talking before, he was saying about he didn't realise how much complexity goes into building a ship. And when you touched on all of that there, then the amount of exposure that people are getting to different areas, how they've had to communicate with different specialists, different technical areas and things like that. Then have you seen the students grow, like say, in terms of the technical abilities as well?
Yeah, and even just in terms of the maths.
Right.
Everything is very complicated. You've got a certain load, you've got your 10 litre jerry cans you've got to bring across the basin. Add in a person, you've changed the amount of weight going into your boat, you've changed the volume that you've got to, a whole new proportion is going to go into your boat. Right. So everything is complicated at sea, and nothing works the way you expect it to. And I think the students have quite liked that challenge. Yeah. They've quite liked, as Patrick said, the eye-opening nature of it. Right. That, there's loads of stuff happening out there. And actually, people who are expert in it are keen to talk to you. Yeah. And certainly with respect to maritime, they want you. Because the careers are there, and they just need the young people who've got those competencies to want to go into it.
Because that's one of the things with Hugh Baird, is we're always looking to provide opportunities and learning experiences for our students that employers ultimately want, having the curriculum based around that. So should our students go through these programs, these courses, gaining the skills that they are doing within the maritime industry, within, say, the local area, what's the growth look like for that over, say, the next sort of 10 years?
Well, like I say, it's one of the, if you look at the planning for the Liverpool City region, it's one of the growth industries. So as part of the event, so all of the companies that have worked with the young people, they'll be there as part of a careers fair as well.
Right, okay.
So some of them are offering apprenticeships very soon, some of them it's in the offing, some of them it's just about knowing that company and keeping an eye out. Certainly, the people who are there from logistics, I know the director from Maersk is keen to pinch people for logistics. Right. There's people who are, there's one company who do, they calibrate instruments. Right. So, all boats have lots of instruments on them that need to be calibrated because you've got movement in the boat. So they're hiring apprentices. So, it's very, very interconnected, because maritime is a community and it's a growth area. There's lots of career potential there for young people who are interested in it, really.
So if there's people who are potentially watching this or listening to this who aren't at the college yet, and then that's where they see themselves, wanting to work on ships, wanting to work with boat building, all those sorts of things, then by coming onto a project like this, then the opportunity does exist there. Yeah,
I think one of the key things to harness is for them to understand how much they've achieved. Yeah. Because they just think, this was, it was eye-opening, it was really interesting, move on to the next thing, is just to capture, I've done project management, I've done budget management, I've learnt this about materials, I've taken this practical mathematical skill and applied it in the real world. They're incredible skills to have, and also to remember the names of the companies you've worked with. Yeah. So you can say, well, when I was talking to the director of Maersk, because that sounds great.
It sounds amazing.
So that's kind of one of the critical things. I mean, I think it was Kabir said something about the way that, I can't remember what he put it, but something about being willing to take a punt, put the work in, and have a bit of a sense of what the dream and the vision might be, which I think very strongly came across from the team here at Hugh Baird, and is one of the things that's made the project possible, because I think by actually getting to the point of building the boat and the students demonstrating it, it's an image of what's possible. Yeah. And the project, then we can continue to build it up. We can show other people, look what these guys have done, where they've taken it from, and what they've achieved, and then that's an image of what's possible for other people. So we're looking forward to building it forward. I hope Cheruni's not sick of us yet.
Well, I was going to say, with your experience of working with Cheruni and Kabir and Lukeman, what like can you sort of tell us about their impact on the students and how they've conducted themselves through the project?
It's incredible. They're so lucky. They're so lucky, the students.
Yeah.
All of the half term they've been in. Not that I'm advocating for people having to work overtime, but it's constantly got what the students can learn and gain
Right.
from the project at the heart of the way they're thinking about it. And also, you know, from a starting point where, you know, some of the students might start off with very low confidence or very low engagement with education, it's how can we get them going? How can we
Right.
start that interest and then they can run with it? And that's very much on everybody's mind and across all the departments. Like one of the things I was really impressed with was the carpentry department.
Right.
So Mark was saying, he was saying they were building, he showed me a bench project that the carpenters were working on. So one of the things that he got them to do was they can take that project home.
Right.
So he said that's something that's really motivates attendance.
Right.
They'll come in because they're getting something they can take home, but he gets them to build two. So one for Thornton College, which is the college for young people with learning
Yeah.
disabilities, which you probably know about more than me, but and another one for them to take home, which I think is fantastic because it's not just teaching them those skills and teaching them to stick with things and be resilient, and you get this at the end of it. It's also teaching them to share and to think there's a bigger society there. I think that's a little bit the way everybody has been working with the students here. It couldn't really have happened without the phenomenal energy of Cheruni for making it happen and pushing it through, and the support of Lukeman and Kabir. It's just been fantastic working with them.
Amazing. So, once this challenge is done, what's next for you and like the projects going forward? Are there going to be more like
Well, we
coming
would-
down the line,
yeah.
or what's
I mean, we
the-
would definitely like to build this forward. I think we've got a couple of models of ways of working with. One college has built it into the curriculum in the T-levels.
Okay.
Hugh Baird have built it into enrichment across lots of different courses, and then the students that wanted to run with it, who really have a good story to tell employers then. It's not something they had to do. It's
Something they wanted
it's something
to
that
do.
shows their proactivity.
Yeah.
So they really need to understand how people will really want that.
Yeah.
Alone.
Yeah.
But so there's lots of different ways that we started looking at it. So it's not just around the engineering side. We've also got young business students looking at creating campaigns to raise awareness, because half the story of decarbonisation is persuading people
Right.
that it's a good idea, not just that you have to do it,
Yeah.
but that actually it'll
It's a good
benefit
idea
you.
to do
So
it.
with art and design students and with the students from Thornton College as well around heritage engagement. So it's around looking at how it's starting to really grow. I think
Yeah.
it's really important. I think it's really important to bring together the idea of that history, because
Yeah.
engaging with that is really something that builds confidence and of all the opportunities that are out there. So come back to your question about how concretely what are we going to do. We're going to look at building the project in a couple of ways. I'd like to keep the one where you build an actual boat that will carry cargo, because it's big,
Yeah.
it's fantastic, it's a very visible achievement. But also we're looking at building some smaller projects that might focus, for example, on sustainable materials.
Right.
So another one that would be maths-based, perhaps focusing just on the naval architecture side. Right. Another one that might focus on propulsion.
So like different areas of specialism.
Different areas
as
of
well.
specialism is one possibility for making it workable, for bringing it down to younger students as well, so that, you know, the schools coming into Hugh Baird, they could do a project with us at year 9, but they could see what the older students have done that's a bigger project that they've achieved. And it just raises aspiration across the board, but also raises awareness of maritime and of the maritime heritage of their region.
Yeah, well, it's like we have as one of our strategic priorities about being a beacon within the community,
Yeah.
and having something tied so closely to, like you say, the heritage of the city,
Yeah.
and how probably so many of the students are attached to that in a way that maybe they're unaware of at the
Yeah.
moment. I think this has been an amazing project, and the way how all the guys have connected to it, the students have connected to it, and the amount of collaboration that's been shown from both internal partners, internal departments, external partners that you've just gone through before. It seemed like it's been a massive community focused project that
Yeah.
ultimately, hopefully we're going to come back with a bit of a trophy at the end of. But if not, there's so much that our students and our learners have been able to take forward from this. So thank you so much for bringing it to the table for the guys, and look forward to what the next steps look like as well, and what the next opportunities potentially look like next year.
Brilliant.
So
Thanks
thank
very
you
much.
so much.
Thanks a lot.